If you watch it through to the end, you will see why some people still refer to it as a tragic ending, even though the full truth about Richard Chamberlain is about courage and peace. This is the rise of a gentle leading man who carried a heavy secret through the best years of his career. Every week, Richard Chamberlain emerged as the person that people trusted, entering living rooms with a serene ease. Richard Chamberlain was recognized by casting directors for his ability to provide depth to traditional characters on stage and cinema, lead a production, and carry a love story. The camera adored Richard Chamberlain's steady control because he listened, halted, and let the eyes communicate instead of pushing or shouting. Magazines sought covers, fans submitted notes, and producers kept calling. Although it appeared to be a dream at first, Richard Chamberlain was subject to a strict regulation from the company for a long time. Conceal your genuine feelings or risk losing everything. That was the rule Richard Chamberlain lived by, and he kept a piece of himself hidden to safeguard the job he loved. The split hurt slowly. Although Richard Chamberlain received recognition and continued to produce meticulous, truthful work, he was unable to fully express himself to the world. Richard Chamberlain discovered safe spaces on stage, carefully constructed his private life, and continued on his path. Years went by. Richard Chamberlain compared the years of silent anxiety with the potential peace that honesty could offer as the world started to shift. Richard Chamberlain eventually decided to speak. Like the job Richard Chamberlain had done for so long, his truth was steady, considerate, and compassionate. It was not a stunt. Richard Chamberlain was referred to as brave by several fans. "We always loved you, Richard Chamberlain," some admirers remarked. That day was the end of the old poster boy image. Some referred to it as heartbreaking since it felt to them like the loss of a dream. But pay closer attention rather than the instant Richard Chamberlain entered the light of day. The most tragic aspect of his life was the protracted period of years that were characterized by fear and quiet. Following that transformation, Richard Chamberlain continued to act as a more complete version of himself, offering his voice and eyes to roles that required attention. The message of Richard Chamberlain's story is straightforward. One can choose truth while simultaneously carrying beauty and suffering. Even though Richard Chamberlain had a brilliant career, it nevertheless left a scar. Even though Richard Chamberlain's life was full with joy, it nonetheless carried weight. However, the release of Richard Chamberlain from a mask that never fit is the ending that counts, not the loss of a flawless public persona. Richard Chamberlain demonstrated that a true man can be both brave and private, gentle and strong, and that the greatest victory is finally standing in your own light. Find out what someone means when they mention the life and tragic ending of Richard Chamberlain. Are they referring to the demise of Richard Chamberlain's previous reputation as an invincible poster boy? That conclusion is one of freedom rather than ruin. Richard Chamberlain found serenity in honesty, maintained his grace, and continued to practice his profession. That is the lesson that should be retained. Stay tuned until the very end, and thank you for watching. If this candid look at Richard Chamberlain moved you, please like the video, subscribe for more serene and relatable tales, and let me know in the comments which part of Chamberlain's journey most affected you, and which legend you would like me to discuss next.